welcome to Diary of a Wannabe Comedian with me, Belle, a wannabe comedian. And that title is very pertinent, as I will come to shortly. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about the Horse Hospital, which is where I went on Thursday to see some comedy animations. And you won't know this, but I'm using air quotes when I say comedy. They were not so much comedy as more animations with comedic moments. And even those were few and far between in some of them. Because I feel rather an expert on comedy, or at least I know a fair bit. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, where's the jokes? Where's the jokes? There was one I quite liked that had a punchline. And it's the kind of thing that I would do. It was slapstick as well. It was basically a filing cabinet falling on someone's head right at the end. So that was quite funny. And there was one about geese and there was one. So let me go back to the beginning. There were two of the animators actually in the room who introduced their particular animations. One of them was really good. Again, not comedy, but he said the palette was, what's the word I'm looking for? Influenced by an MRI scan. And I could really see that. And it was very well done because it was just all white, but no comedy. And there was another one that was just weird. And the animator said that he divides audiences. And I don't know. I'm leaning towards this is awful. This is not good at all. But I can see why, because it won an award. It's literally a guy just reciting the alphabet and these voices making him recite it faster and faster and faster. And it's quite colourful and just odd. But what he does do is he's not afraid to use space. So he'll have a black screen and just silence for quite a few seconds where you think, oh, is it broken or is it coming back? So I think that's probably why he won an award, because he was brave. Saturday I had my usual comedy with Logan Murray, and that was good. Not much to report there. It was very physical. There wasn't any comedy writing as such, but it was very physical. But yesterday I went to see a competition final in Surbiton, which is run by Elaine and Graham Blackmore, who are the ones that run the gig that I did last Sunday in Windsor. And that was good. There were three halves, which makes me laugh. You know what I mean. Three of them anyway. And I would say the gold was in the second and the third. So I do feel for the people that were in the first third. But, that's the way it is. They were drawn out randomly. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. But the winner, without a doubt, was someone I just sort of flagged in my head as was particularly good, because she changed the energy in the room. You know what I mean? There was a little bit of stardust when she did her set, and I can't put my finger on what it was, but she definitely upped the game for everybody. Everybody that followed her had to up their game, and indeed they did. To be fair, they did. But the winner won a trophy and £150. So I'm going to put that one on my list to apply for next year. In fact, I'm going to focus on... Well, actually, no, I'm not going to tell you, because we can do that in the new year resolutions. So I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. So we'll talk about that one at the end of the year, which is only 3 weeks away now. Is that right? 3-4 weeks? Crikey. Anyway, one of the judges yesterday was a guy called Adam Bloom. And I've actually bought his book, and I bought his book because Jamie Jackson was banging on about it in his podcast about how good it was. So I thought, I better get it then. And I have bought it, not read it yet, not started even reading it. But I thought, I knew he was going to be a judge. I'll take it along and get him to sign it. So he asked me how many gigs I'd done, to which I responded 90. And then he wrote in the book, "Dear Belle, you only have 10 more gigs to do before you're one of us. Love, Adam, kiss." There you are. So his view is, I did have a little chat actually. So he felt actually he was starting to get it around 75 gigs, but generally, who is it? Eddie Izzard said it's 100. Whereas Jamie Jackson says if you're standing on a stage telling jokes, you're a comedian. I'm kind of with him, I'll be honest. But, I get why people say 100. And actually, in terms of my own comedy, I think I'm just starting to get it. It's mastering it is still just a little bit out of my reach, but I'm just starting to understand what it is you have to do at this funny old game called show. That's not right, is it? This funny old business called show. Anyway, swiftly moving on. The last thing I want to talk about is my friend has literally just sent through to me a link because she has recorded an advert. My friend Judy, this is. She's recorded an advert and it is very funny. So I'm going to put the link of that in the notes of this show. Enjoy. Much love and gratitude.